Elden Ring has killed its players billions of times. This game has no difficulty settings. Its opening boss is designed to kill you on purpose, and its hardest boss heals herself every single time she touches you, even when you block. And yet, here's the part nobody talks about. More people have actually finished Elden Ring than most games that are supposed to be easy. Both of those things are true at the same time, and the reason why is one of the smartest tricks in the history of game design. To answer that, we're sending in a stickman. No armor, no skills, no idea what he's walking into, and by the end of this video, he will have died 4,672 times. Let's begin. Your very first moments in Elden Ring are a scam. You wake up in a place called the Chapel of Anticipation. You're handed a sword, and about 40 seconds later, the game drops a boss on you called the Grafted Scion, a screeching tangle of stolen arms and legs swinging 4 weapons at once. You are meant to lose this fight. It's tuned so that a brand new character basically cannot win. The game kills you, rolls the title card, and dumps your corpse in a tutorial cave like nothing happened. Think about what that does to a new player's brain. Minute 1, you died, and it wasn't your fault. Elden Ring opens by teaching you that death here is not a game over screen. It's just Tuesday, then the game feels a little bad for you. The tutorial cave gives you the Soldier of Godric, the single easiest boss in the entire game. A nervous man with a shield whose job is to make you feel better. The community loves this guy. There are memes mourning him. He never had a chance. And then you step out into Limgrave. Golden sky, giant glowing tree on the horizon, music swells, one of the great welcome to the game moments ever made. And parked right there, maybe 100 feet from the exit, is a knight on horseback in gleaming gold armor called the Tree Sentinel. Almost every single new player does the same thing. They see the shiny knight. They think, that's the first boss. They walk up, and they get folded in half like a lawn chair. He's tuned for a player 5-10 levels deeper into the game. He is not a boss you fight, he's a lesson. And the lesson is the single most important rule in Elden Ring. Just because something is in front of you does not mean you're supposed to fight it yet. Hold on to that rule, because it's the answer to this entire video. So how scary is dying in this game? Really? When you die in Elden Ring, you drop everything, all your runes, the currency you use to level up and buy gear, left lying in a little glowing puddle where you fell. You get exactly one chance to walk back and pick them up. Die again on the way? Gone forever? Thousands of runes, an hour of progress, deleted because you got cocky near a cliff. And about cliffs, by most community counts, the deadliest force in Elden Ring isn't a boss at all. It's gravity. More Tarnished have been claimed by ledges, misjudged jumps, and breaking their horse half a second too late than by any dragon in the game. The #1 killer in the lands between is the ground. There's no pause button, by the way. Did I mention that? Open your menu mid-fight, and the boss will happily kill you while you're comparing pants. Now, to be fair, this sounds brutal, but veterans will tell you Elden Ring is actually the gentlest FromSoftware has ever been about death. Checkpoints, called Sites of Grace, are everywhere. The game even sprinkles glowing respawn statues called Stakes of Marika right outside boss doors, so a death costs you a 10-second walk instead of a 5-minute hike. Compare that to older games in the genre, where the walk back to the boss was its own boss. Elden Ring wants death to sting. It does not want death to waste your evening. That distinction matters, and it's the first hint that this game's reputation and this game's reality are two different things. Every FromSoftware game has a moment where the tutorial ends and the game looks you dead in the eye. In Elden Ring, that moment has a name, Margit, the Fell Omen. He's waiting at the gates of Stormvale Castle, the first real dungeon. He greets you with one of the most quoted lines in the game, telling you to put your foolish ambitions to rest.
Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
And then he proceeds to personally enforce it. Here's what makes Margit special, and honestly, kind of evil. Every action game ever made trained you that enemies attack in rhythm. Swing, swing, pause, swing, swing, pause, you dodge on the beat. Margit knows you know that, so he raises his staff and holds it there, hanging in the air. Half a second. A full second. Your thumb is twitching. You panic roll, and that's when the staff comes down, right on your dumb little round head. He has a dagger throw with so much wind-up delay, the community treats it like psychological warfare. Margit isn't testing your reflexes. He's testing your patience, and in launch week, he was a nation-scale event. Millions of players hit this fight in their first few hours, and the estimated death tolls per day were in the millions. For a lot of people, Margit was where Elden Ring became that game is too hard for me. But here's what those people never found out. Margit is a scam too, in the other direction. The game never tells you this, but you're probably fighting him 10 levels earlier than the world expects you to. Limgrave is huge, and almost all of it is optional content designed to make you stronger before Stormvale. Even better, there's a merchant, sitting in a shack you probably ran straight past, who sells an item called Margit's Shackle, a literal magic handcuff that slams Margit to the ground mid-fight, twice, for free. The game sells a Margit off button. Most players who quit at Margit never knew it existed, and that is Elden Ring's difficulty in one sentence: the wall is real, but the game has hidden a door in it. Every single time. So let's talk about the trick. The reason this brutally hard game gets finished by ordinary people. Elden Ring has no difficulty menu. What it has instead is a map, and the map is the difficulty slider. Stuck on a boss? Leave. Ride your ghost horse torrent literally anywhere else. Find a cave, a catacomb, a ruin. There are well over 100 of these, and come back 6 levels stronger with a new weapon. No other Souls game let you do this. In Dark Souls, a wall was a wall. In Elden Ring, a wall is a suggestion. Then there are spirit ashes, summonable ghost allies. They start silly, a pack of wolves, some jellyfish that spits poison and takes forever to die. But eventually the game hands you the Mimic Tear, a spirit that copies you. Your gear, your weapon, your flasks. You and your clone jumping a boss 2-on-1. At launch, it was so absurdly strong that FromSoftware nerfed it in a patch, and it's still one of the best summons in the game. Prefer magic? Sorcery in this game is affectionately known as easy mode with math. There's a spell called Comet Azure that fires a continuous laser beam the width of a school bus. Some bosses die before they finish walking to you. Prefer swords but hate fairness? Bleed weapons build up a gauge that deletes 10-15% of a boss's health in one burst, and an entire katana, Rivers of Blood, became so famous for it that using one online was basically a confession. Want to just be bigger number? Overleveling isn't cheating here, it's supported. There are farming spots, including a famous one near Mogwin Palace, where players grind millions of runes off respawning enemies who barely fight back. None of these levers is labeled easy mode. That's the genius. Nobody has to open a settings menu and admit anything. You just explore more, and the game quietly gets easier while letting you believe you got better. You did get better. It's just that you also got a laser and a clone, and the results are in the data. On Steam, roughly 2 out of 3 players have beaten Godric, the first major demon lord of the game. Close to half of all players have reached an ending. For context, in most single-player games, easy ones, half the players never finish at all. The hardest game of its generation has one of the healthiest completion rates in the industry. That's not an accident, that's design. Of course, the game giveth, and the game absolutely taketh away. Let's talk about Caelid. Caelid is Elden Ring's plague zone, a rotting red hellscape in the east where the sky is the color of an infection and everything wants you dead. The plants are wrong. The dogs are wrong. They're the size of horses and their heads open sideways. The crows are the size of cars. New players are warned by the entire internet in one voice, do not go to Caelid. So naturally, the game tricks you into going. There's a treasure chest in some ruins in peaceful, sunny Limgrave. You open it because it's a chest and you're a good little adventurer, and it's a trap. It teleports you, level 8, no map, into a mine in the middle of Caelid. Speedrunners use this chest on purpose. New players come out of that mine, see the red sky, and experience genuine fear. Caelid is also home to what many players call the real hardest enemies in the game. Not bosses, just residents. The Rune Bear is a bear that dodges. Let me repeat that. A bear that dodges. There are optional field monsters in this game with more health than endgame bosses, and the game just leaves them lying around like landmines. And at the bottom of Caelid waits Starscourge Radon, a demigod so strong the game throws you a literal festival for the right to die to him. Warriors gather, gates open, and you fight a gravity wizard giant on a starving horse across an entire beach, while the game lets you resummon a whole squad of named NPC helpers mid-fight, over and over. It's less a duel and more a war. He was so hard at launch that when a patch accidentally weakened one of his attacks, players genuinely mourned, and FromSoftware patched his power back in. Because, of course they did. Here's something veterans agree on. The first half of Elden Ring is FromSoftware being fair. The last third is FromSoftware seeing how much you'll tolerate. Past the golden capital of Lendel, maybe the most beautiful place in the game, the difficulty curve stops curving and starts climbing hand over hand. The fire giant is a health bar the size of a zip code attached to a creature the size of a stadium, and the community's honest strategy is hit him in the ankle for 6 minutes. The Godskin Duo is a boss fight where two bosses with infinite respawns share one health bar, and it is, by popular vote, the most hated fight in the game. Fun fact, the game never tells you, they're both weak to sleep. You can craft sleep pots from materials lying around and just put them to bed, one at a time, like misbehaving toddlers. The game's most hated fight ships with an off switch, and almost nobody finds it. Then Malekith, the Black Blade, a fight so fast and so airborne that most deaths feel like being attacked by a ceiling fan full of swords. But all of it, is the warm-up act. You have to go out of your way to find the hardest boss FromSoftware has ever made. She's hidden at the bottom of the Halig Tree, a secret zone behind a secret zone, unlocked by solving a puzzle in a frozen ghost town that half the player base never even discovers. The game hides her like it's ashamed of what it made. And then you walk into that room, and a one-armed woman with a prosthetic sword arm says the line, "I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella, and I have never known defeat."
I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella. And I have never known defeat.
She isn't lying, and here's her cheat code. Every time Malenia's blade touches you, she heals. Not a little, a chunk. And she heals even if you block. You can play perfectly for 4 minutes, make one mistake, and watch her undo all of your work by hitting you 3 times. Then there's Waterfowl Dance. She leaps into the air, hangs there, and unleashes 3 flurries of slashes so fast and so wide that entire guide videos, thousands of hours of community research, exist just to answer the question, how do I not die to this one move? Beat her once? Phase 2. She detonates into a goddess of scarlet rot, reborn inside a blooming flower, with a full health bar and an aura that makes standing near her a mistake. By the game's first anniversary, official numbers had Malenia's player kill count at over 300 million. One optional boss, 300 million funerals, and that pressure created the single greatest story in Elden Ring's history. Elden Ring lets you summon other real players for help, and in the weeks after launch, players fighting Malenia started seeing the same summon sign outside her door, "Let me solo her." You'd summon this person, a completely naked man wearing a jar on his head, holding 2 katanas, and he would ask, through a polite bow, that you simply stand back. And then he would kill the hardest boss in the game. For you. For free. Thousands and thousands of times. He became a legend. Fan art, in-game shrines, news coverage. Bandai Namco eventually sent him an actual, real-life sword. And that story is secretly the whole thesis of this video. The hardest boss FromSoftware ever built didn't produce rage. It produced the most famous act of charity in gaming. Because Elden Ring's difficulty was never a wall between you and the game. It's a campfire other people gather around. So, the actual numbers, all together. An average first playthrough runs somewhere around 60 hours, over 100 if you're a completionist. There are over 150 boss encounters. The game has sold over 30 million copies and won Game of the Year for 2022. It has been beaten by a streamer using a dance pad. It has been beaten at level 1, in the starting rags, by choice. It has been beaten without taking a single hit, which should be illegal. And when the Shadow of the Erd Tree expansion arrived in 2024, FromSoftware answered the question, did you go soft? With a boss, promised consort Rot Radon, that a large chunk of the community immediately called the hardest fight the studio has ever shipped. The Steam reviews flooded with 2 hard complaints for about a week. Then, everyone leveled their Scadu Tree blessings, learned the fight, and quietly deleted their reviews, as is tradition. So how hard is Elden Ring actually? Here's the honest answer. Elden Ring contains the hardest individual fights FromSoftware has ever made, and it is still the easiest FromSoftware game to actually finish. Both true. Because this game did something no difficulty menu has ever done, it made difficulty a negotiation instead of a setting. Every wall has a door. Every nightmare has a cheese. Every boss has a version of you, more explored, more leveled, more clever, or just more accompanied, that beats it. The game never asks you to be good enough. It asks you to be stubborn enough to find your way through, and it has quietly hidden a way through for everyone. Elden Ring is exactly as hard as your pride insists it has to be. The knight who beat Malenia solo at level 1, and the sorcerer who melted her with a laser while hiding behind a clone, they both saw the same credits. The game respects both. The community mostly respects both. And our stickman? He died 4,672 times, and he'd do it all again. Actually, he already did. That's how the number got to 4,000. If this earned it, subscribing genuinely helps a small channel. And tell me in the comments, what boss made you put the controller down? Until then, stay stubborn, Tarnished.